Thank you, Dr. Ritchie. Mr. Smith.
Chairman Sanders, Ranking Member Burr, distinguished members of the committee, and our distinguished guests here today. It's really my honor to be here to talk about this incredibly important topic and to represent our 55,000 members at Team Red, White, and Blue. We're hoping that we can be a part of the solution. But before we get into any solutions, I think it's worth taking some time to actually understand the challenge a bit better. We know that the physical, emotional, and psychological wounds of war affect a significant percentage of our veterans, and they have to be addressed. Conditions like post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury have justifiably moved into the light and are oft cited as the culprits for many veteran challenges. We acknowledge that, but we'd like to submit that there are additional challenges that may play just as significant a role for many veterans, and that includes very common things like survivor's remorse and guilt and depression, and even just the loss of identity and purpose and camaraderie that comes with taking off the uniform and transitioning to civilian life. So we want to craft solutions that address the full spectrum of the challenge and, whenever possible, proactively get at those challenges. We also think it's important to understand the people that are involved here. As has been stated many times this morning, every veteran is not the same. Our organization, when we were really building ourselves back in July of 2012, conducted a representative survey and study of veterans, and we asked them what they wanted. We asked them what they needed and wanted to build an organization that could address those wants and needs. And what they told us they wanted was connection to their community. They told us they wanted camaraderie, they wanted opportunities to continue serving, and they wanted meaningful relationships. And so that's what we've gone about trying to craft at Team Red, White, and Blue. The next thing I'll state is that the solution requires empathy and not just sympathy. It really requires a deep understanding of our veterans and their families and their needs. And so we have to provide local and consistent and inclusive opportunities for veterans and their families to interact with one another, but maybe more importantly with members of their community who are not veterans. One of the things we know is that stress and anxiety and depression and divorce and guilt, those are not veteran-centric issues. These are human issues that just happen to be experienced by veterans as well. And so if we can build meaningful connections between veterans and the members of their community, we can create understanding and we can create trust. And then we can move veterans toward the potentially life-saving treatments that they may need. Because also what's been stated here this morning is that it doesn't matter what our capacity for acute care is if we can't move veterans toward that care. That's a critically important step. The engagement and the outreach piece is absolutely critical. So at Team Red, White, and Blue, our job is to build those connections in the community. And we choose to do it primarily through physical, social activities. We do that because we know that it works. So why does it work so well? I think it's clear that physical exercise is great for your physical health. We all understand that. It's also been well documented in recent studies that physical activity, even moderate exercise, does great things for mood, reduction of anxiety, and reduction of stress. It's even cited in some cases that exercise can be as effective as some antidepressants or even counseling when combating depression. But I'll tell you that I think the most compelling argument for physical exercise is that in addition to improving physical health and mood, it's an extremely efficient vehicle for developing genuine relationships. We know that shared accomplishment and accountability and even shared hardship through exercise and challenges builds bonds very rapidly and creates great understanding amongst people. We've also found this team concept to be very, very attractive amongst veterans, especially of the younger generation. At Team Red, White, and Blue, we don't ask them to identify themselves as wounded or broken. We just offer them an opportunity to be a part of a new team, perhaps to help other veterans, and they really come out in droves. I think the results have been remarkable, and we measure them. Over the past 2 years, our membership has exploded by more than tenfold to now more than 55,000 members, and we grow by about 700 members every week. We've gone from about 10 local chapters to nearly 120, and those chapters host over 800 activities and generate almost 10,000 quality veteran interactions every single month. And so those outputs, I think, are interesting, but the outcomes are actually more compelling. So in a recent survey of about 4,400 of our members, we learned that our programs are having a profound impact. Our members indicated that their health is improving, they have more meaningful relationships, and they have a stronger sense of purpose and identity. For example, 94% of active Team Red, White, and Blue members report feeling part of something bigger than themselves. That's really important. Similarly, 61% of active Team Red, White, and Blue members report feeling less down, depressed, and hopeless. Additionally, veterans have more people they can turn to for emotional support. They're more involved in their local community. They have more programs they can turn to for resources, and they have a greater sense of brotherhood or sisterhood in their lives. Lastly, I'd say that our programs are effectively connecting veterans to their civilian counterparts. A majority of our veterans, nearly 75%, report sharing the challenges they face as a veteran with the civilian members of their community. I think that's remarkable. And of equal importance, 75% of our civilian members state that they have a better understanding of both the challenges veterans face and the strengths that veterans bring to their community. Also very important. And so while we're committed to measuring these outcomes, I think that ultimately our organization is about people. And I'd like to share a couple of quotes if I have time. I really believe that if Ian had been involved in this group, he'd be alive today. Team Red, White, and Blue helped me make friends when I moved to Virginia. It also allowed me to connect with the people I worked so hard to save. This is suicide prevention and life enrichment in its most simple and clear manner. And that comes from a very strong young lady sitting behind me. Her name is Rebecca Morrison, and her late husband tragically took his own life in 2012. PTSD and alcohol dependence were killing me physically, mentally, and socially. My will to live was completely broken. Physically, I was a wreck. Mentally, I was all over the place. Severe depression and anxiety ruled my life. Fast forward to April of 2013 when I found Team Red, White, and Blue. This is the point that my life definitely changed. I found what was missing since I left the Army: genuine people and brotherhood and camaraderie. People who understand me. Now I've lost 60 pounds and I reap the physical and mental benefits of consistent exercise. I've taken back my life and I've overcome the challenges of PTSD. I have regained self-esteem and confidence. I'm now part of a wonderful group of friends and a very large extended family that genuinely cares about me, and I care about them also. That comes from an Army veteran named Sean McMillan. He lives in central Pennsylvania. He now leads our chapter there and is working every day to help hundreds of veterans like him. So thank you for giving me the time. I look forward to answering any of your questions and helping in any way that I can.
Mr. Smith, thank you very much.